Hello, everybody. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. Thank you for joining our regular Tuesday live show that we do on, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, and on TikTok, where we take your general immigration questions and try to give some understanding of what's going on in this wild world of immigration, and to answer your questions. But general educational purposes only, not intended for individual legal guidance. You always have to know so much more information about your backgrounds, and like the explanations are so deep that a consultation is needed. If you want to set that up, fees do apply. Go to our website, jqqlaw.com/contact. Fill in that short bio information page on the contact page so we know how to get a hold of you. Because one thing is, too, is we give some advice info here, and then tomorrow the rules change. We sometimes need to follow up, or might have just made a mistake and I need to contact you back. We can't do that here. And if you contact us, we really need to have you in our system so we can always have a follow-up system. So it's a lot of technical stuff that has to be done to do this job properly. And one aspect is have good internet, which are already seeing things slow down. We'll see how it goes today, how internet goes. But the audio's set up, the internet's here. Thank you so much again for joining us. Again, general educational purposes. If you're interested in marriage-based immigration, is one of our main focuses. Download our guide, the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide, 70 plus pages of just like pure information. Well, it's not pure. There's pages that are table contents or something, but information to help you get through this. The website is marriageimmigrationlaw.com. Again, that's marriageimmigrationlaw.com. It seems the internet's good on all these other platforms, but one phone of mine is being really slow, which is the TikTok page, which usually gets a lot of questions. So waiting for that to come up. We got our first question. One World Star Live says, my dad's a U.S. citizen and I'm a British citizen. How can I reach the USA via immigration? Well, first you got to see if you got citizenship automatically through your father. If that didn't happen, there's all the immigration programs potentially apply to you. But if you want to do it specifically through your father, he could file for a green card for you, and depending on your age, you could get a green card. Now, if you're under 21, for example, it'll be relatively fast. But if you are over 21, it's going to take, if you're married especially, it's going to take 7 to 12, 14 years. So if that's the case, you might need to find an alternative that could do it. Hopefully this TikTok situation is better. I'm not sure why we see it so bad. So now you might get married to a U.S. citizen. You might have great work. You do what's called a national interest waiver. Say, the work of your specialty is so good and you can really help America. They'll give you a green card. So these other options do exist. But if you specifically with your father, that's the situation. He might have got married to a U.S. citizen later in life, like if your stepmother, and that's how I got it. So you can't really pass it down to you, but you got to do it directly. But you got to go through all the steps to do it. So that may be the option there. So we're live on Instagram as well. If you want to ask questions there, best place is on YouTube because the questions there stay the best. On TikTok, just so many questions. It's hard. Reset says, hello, if they cancel our first marriage interview after we did it and schedule a new one, are they going to, I don't know what you mean, they canceled the first marriage interview after we did it. So you did a marriage green card interview, then they canceled the first one. So the question, Reset, I don't fully understand it, and I'm getting cut off on TikTok right now, so I'm not sure if you can understand me. So there's a disconnect going on there. Again, YouTube is the best place, JQK Law or U.S. Immigration Talk, to follow us and get notifications on the live show as well. And so, yeah, said if they're separating, if you get insight, you need to talk with, if you're doing a marriage green card interview or a case of marriage green card and they're wanting to separate you or second the interview, that's the point where you put the money in and you get an immigration lawyer to come with you to the interview, because that's a disaster waiting to happen. So not to scare you too much, but there's no reason for the interview. Very few officers or offices in USCIS will automatically separate people. So there's something going on there. It's not necessarily that something going on bad on your part, but there's some mistrust they have of your background or some confusion or something. You definitely need to get professional help on that. Sophie asks, hello, can my father travel to Mexico if he's waiting for his oath ceremony? I can't say for sure, give your father individual enough guidance, but generally this is not a problem. But note that once he does his oath ceremony, he gives away his green card, and then he can't return to the U.S. without getting a passport. So if there's travel planned after becoming a citizen, make sure to expedite or get a passport, a U.S. passport, as soon as possible to avoid that becoming problematic, not be able to re-enter. Fahim says, hi, how do you as well? Sephora asks, my I-485, that's a green card application we do in the case in the U.S., approved. When will I receive my green card approval? Usually a week or two afterwards, but sometimes it's longer. Sometimes the post office loses it. Jay asks, I did AP as Advanced Pro. When I came back, I saw my passport has one letter wrong on my last name and my I-94 too. I got to see how that works out. It's probably fixable. I'm not sure, but we got to see what's going on. I'm not sure. I have to see the documents and what's wrong with this, how it can be fixed, and how it was not caught sooner. But I don't have any specific guidance on that, because that's a document thing. I got to see what's going on. Vatsal says, spouse AOS through marriage, there's a green card through marriage, U.S. citizen, received a medical RFE. It's a medical checkup you have to do. They ask for a copy of it after filing. Submit a response. What's the timeline like after? There's no timeline. It's all over the place. Kebet says, hi, filing I-130 more than 30 days ago and not received yet. What can I do? Did the check get cashed or did the credit card get charged? That's a way. So if they did, then your case is going through. You got to call USCIS to figure out what's going on, get a receipt number. If not, it was probably rejected or something like that. Try filing online next time. Lucy asks, can an F1 spouse marry U.S. on his B2 visa? An F1 spouse marry a U.S. on his B1, B2? I think you're saying like student visa holding spouse marrying their someone's on a student visa. Their partner comes to U.S. on a tourist visa and gets married in the U.S. Can they? Well, you can get married in the U.S., but can you then change to F2 status? Maybe, but we got to see what's going on. When the interview happened, were you engaged, and did you tell the embassy yes or no? How soon afterwards are you getting married? Was there immigrant intent or not, or is there intent to bypass the embassy? Was any fraud or misrepresentation going on? So there's a lot of things we got to know, and how much time is going to be too. It's probably doable, but I need to get in deeper and see all the different things that could be problematic. My job primarily is like, okay, you probably have a good case, but I got to do all the x-rays and blood tests and all this kind of stuff to just double check, because mistakes happen. There's a million of these cases, and 1% of them go bad. Let's say 0.01% go bad. That's still thousands of people. I can't do the math online live like this, so I'll leave it up to you to do the math. But so that's one of those things. My job is to kind of like dig deep and go in your mouth and check your teeth out, check your and every part of your body, like in the case, let's say. But to see, hey, what's going on? Is this something that's problematic or not? Farhana says, what does it mean? Case closed. I-130 application for travel document, pro documents, arrival record. So that means that you probably had your green card approved, so they denied the I-131 Advanced Pro because you don't need it anymore. That's probably what happened there. User 31 says, if I came with a K1 still, I don't have papers 20 years. I don't know. You got to schedule a private consultation. If you came with the K1 and you didn't apply based on the marriage to your fiance, it's very problematic. So schedule a private consultation. Reset says, yes, we did the interview, and they send notification that the interview was canceled. You need to contact USCIS to see when the world's going on, because you did your interview, so there's some sort of confusion there. The USCIS canceled my asylum case and transferred it to the court. Is this good? No, it's bad. You should get a lawyer. We don't do court work or asylum work, so I can't help you, but it's not good at all. Chocolate says, our humanitarian pro granted for hysterectomy. It depends. It's what they want to do. Humanitarian pro isn't a reliable program for outside the U.S. Get it. It's very unreliable. Abs says, can I apply marriage-based green card without medical? No, you have. I mean, you could submit the case without the medical, but eventually they're going to want it to approve it. That's the request for evidence for it. Khadija says, hey, do congressional inquiry work? I got I-130 expedite approved since May, still no decision. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And so there's found us. You're welcome. So let me find out, was that the situation? You got your green card approved, so they didn't need the I-130 anymore, I-131 anymore? Iran says, hi, I applied for a green card. I don't know how much it will take. It varies. Chris says, how long does it take for work permit? I don't know. We don't really get into timeline questions here, because it's just whatever I say is going to be wrong anyways, because the government sometimes will be faster or will be slower. Like I did this video about green card renewals. Average green card, if you have a green card, a 10-year green card, you're renewing it, on average, it's going to take probably it's going to take 3 weeks to 3 years. I have cases done in 3 weeks. I have cases done in 3 years. It's ridiculous that it takes 3 years to do a basic green card renewal, but that's the government. They even expect it to take longer than that. That's why they give you like a 4-year extension on it. Now, I did a video, and all these people are like, you're a liar. You're a liar. I got mine approved in 3 weeks. I'm like, yeah, that's the government. Sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's slow. And so all these questions about timelines, anything's possible. I try to give an average, but an average is just the middle. It doesn't mean it doesn't capture all of them. So like I have a fiance guy, I was consulting the fiance visa case, and I told him like, how long it's going to take. And he's like, well, other lawyers told me it's going to be half that time. I'm like, well, maybe it will be that too. But you're planning your life on, you're changing your job, when you get married, the wedding date, all this kind of stuff. I can't give you the best case scenario. Like out of 10 people, 3 of them will be faster, 6 will be the average. I said 3 of them will be longer. So I'm going to tell you the 6 middle people because that's the average. But who knows what's going on with USCIS? And let me look at election results. Are they coming in? Yeah, it's 4 p.m. here. Let's see election results. And as you can imagine, the election results are going to change everything. So let's see. Trump has 19 electoral points from based on Google. It was 3, but the results aren't really in. I guess whoever wins Pennsylvania is going to win it. Let's see what Pennsylvania when those answers come out. But anyways, so that's that. Let's see. My I-765 work permit denied by applying before 180 days, but still clocking so I can apply for 8 days. So that's asylum-based EAD you're doing. I don't ever submit those because I don't do asylum cases, so I don't really want to get into that. Chocolate says, thank you, you're welcome. EB says, I just got a request for initial evidence for I-485. What can I do at this stage? Well, you have to answer it. That's it. So schedule a private consultation so you can see what's in that. You got to read what's in there. They'll send you a notice. You have to get it and respond in time. And he says, does the USCIS requesting medical for my marriage-based green card a good sign? Not necessarily. It's just something you have to submit with the case. Probably it is, but that's that. Lauren asks, I was living at my mom's house and I have her address, but I moved to a different address now. Do I have to tell USCIS? Yeah, if you move in and you're have a green card case pending or you're not a U.S. citizen, you got to update USCIS. Now, there's triggers that can happen depending on where you are in a case, what your case is. Lauren, I know you're a regular, but I don't remember any of the details of your case. I just remember your name. So it's like, how serious is the address move is just a temporary thing. So you got to be careful because when you move too, if they're sending you documents, it gets lost a lot of times. So maybe keeping a more safe mailing address, for example, all that's a factor. These are all the practical stuff we add as law lawyers. Like, okay, what's this strategically what to do? That's law may be normal, but it's like in practice how this all works out. Hart says, I'm on a visitor visa. How to convert my visa? Please help. You got to see if there's anything possible for you. I don't know. Jess says, okay, thanks, but you're welcome. Salvana says, what could be a reason for RFE from I-134S and everything, including medical? You got to read the RFE. It could be a myriad of things. Just get the RFE, request for evidence they send because they just some problem with your case and see what it says. Sometimes it's a mistake. We get mistake RFEs all the time. The government then sends RFEs to ask for documents that have nothing to do with us. And then they'll a week later get one that says, actually cancel that. Sorry. So it's anything's possible. Bernard says, got first DUI in 2023, did court referral program after completion, charge were dropped, got certificate, no accident, no injuries, nothing, just sped over 8 over. Will this affect the marriage green card application? It can on discretion, probably not. But, officers can do it. Can't guarantee it's not going to be a problem. M says, in terms of proof of bona fide marriage, how can you have much if you just got married before applying? Well, you had a relationship before applying. You guys talk to each other. There's messages. You have photos together. You may have done travel together. May have gone to Disneyland together. May have, added bank accounts together. May have updated your driver's license, have the same ID. May have sent money or gifts. You might have been invited to weddings where they sent invitations. Well, you got to look at your life, analyze your life. If you know each other, there's something. I mean, obviously, there's a paper trail that comes about in living modern day life nowadays. So there's a paper trail. And there's letters from family and friends that know about your relationship. You might have gone to a doctor and they said, okay, if you have an emergency, who do we call? And you listed your girlfriend at the time, your boyfriend at the time. We'll get a copy of that. There's all these different things. Your work might have life insurance benefits. And you say, who's life insurance beneficiary? So this is what we're here for. So you don't file yourself. You get a good immigration lawyer who digs into your life and is an investigator position. He says, Phil Dunphy. Yeah, it's extra Phil Dunphy today, it seems. Especially on TikTok images. I'm on a visitor visa. How to convert? It could be anything. I don't know. Doban says, TRV stamp. The thing is, when you're on a visitor visa, some options may apply, some don't. Very limited. You might want to go student visa. You might be married to a U.S. citizen. You might do change of status to investor visa if you're right country, right passport, and you have a business idea. You might do a national interest waiver for green card. You might have an asylum claim. It's like everything in that. So when it's everything, I can't really answer. I need the more contours, more walls, so I give a less generic response. TRV stamped till 2027. I will leave Canada now. Can I come back? We don't do Canadian immigration here. How long is the assignment interview? Could be many hours. VAWA approval rate after prima facie, I don't keep, it doesn't really matter. Approval rate still matters about your case. And plus, we don't do VAWA cases here too often. Aisha says, how long for assignment interview? It's 1 week to 10 years, literally. You're welcome, M. 79, is it a bad sign to receive a response after a marriage interview 2 weeks? Not necessarily. It's not good, but sometimes it's the way it is. Y'all don't need to ask the same question over and over again. I might have to kick you out of the group because it makes it hard to keep track of what's going on. Okay, so let's get another question. How long is it? 15 minutes. All right. So what do I want to say? So citizenship. During election years, citizenship goes out really fast. So they'll approve it. So we had cases done in 2 or 3 months for naturalization. But with the election today, they're going to slow it down. So prepare for longer naturalization time. Let's make a video of that. Longer nats kind of long. Nats times coming. Okay, Bernard, is it better to do the medical with the I-130, I-45 together quicker, or just wait until requested? It depends how you want to do it. So if you have certain medical situations that are problematic, we like you to do the medical first so we can see what the results are, if there's any problems in there. If you just enter the U.S. and then you get married or plan on doing it, we don't want you to get the medical too soon because it looks like it might have been your intent if it wasn't your intent. But sometimes you want to just get the case in faster, to get the work permit faster, so you say do it later. So it depends on your personal scenario, what suits what's going on with you. So for example, the DUI, it may come up in the U.S. They don't hassle you, but if you're going through the embassy, a DUI could lead to like a year-long denial and retesting and DUI classes, AA or AAA, what is it? The AA classes. It gets really nasty. So sometimes it's better to do medical for that purpose because it would have been before a DUI happened or something. But it depends on the scenario and what's going on in your life. Nowadays, they said the medicals don't expire, so that's helped out a lot. All right, see how many. I think I invited somebody to be a guest by accident, but we'll see. If they want to pop on, go ahead. I think my internet is being slow, so like we're not getting. Usually, got 1,000 questions by now. So, ask your immigration questions. If you want to learn more about marriage pages of real good guidance on what's going on before you schedule a consultation attorney, know what's going on so you can ask really good questions from the lawyer hire, especially if it's us. We could talk about it in more detail. If you want the guide, if you go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com, the website is marriageimmigrationlaw.com. That's where you can download the guide. But if you want to just go straight and schedule a consultation with me, jqqlaw.com/contact is where you do that. jqqlaw.com/contact. Fortune says, do you advise those waiting for approval of EAD to work? What's the typical wait time? I can't advise somebody to break the law, so no, I can't advise that. What's the typical wait time? Depends on what kind of EAD you're requesting. Right now, C9 adjustment-based EADs, those are applying for a green card, all of them are getting approved in like 3 to 4 weeks, but that could go slower. Some would get randomly faster. It's all worth it, but it depends on what kind of green card you have. Everyone asked to close my asylum case. My attorney filed online and attached 2 documents, my green card and asylum notice. Do you think it's enough? And how many days asylum office in New York to close the case? They don't really notify you when they close the case per se, but we mail it in. We recommend people mail it to the asylum office that had your case. That's the way we recommend our clients do it. And have like, return receipt or just to show that they signed for it so we have confirmation of it. Even with that, they may not cancel it by accident and they call you for an interview. Who knows? It's the government. Anything is possible. After the biometrics appointment, what is the average web time? There is no average web time. The biometrics has no connection with any other part of the immigration case. So that's that. Fortune says some lawyers here in TT, where's TT, are saying working while waiting for AD won't harm process. If you're married to a U.S. citizen and you work with authorization, and you didn't claim to be a U.S. citizen, you didn't make up a social security number, you didn't make up a fake green card, and you didn't lie like that, you got to like pay cash to work as a busboy at a restaurant, for example, then almost never do they hold it against you. Very rarely would they do the discretion, they do that. But generally, if you're married to a U.S. citizen, or immediate relative, parent of U.S. citizen, spouse of U.S. citizen, or minor child of U.S. citizen, the statute says that you could waive that. And so almost always it happens. But if you're asking me, do I recommend that you work without authorization, breaking the rules? No, I can't do that. I'm a lawyer at the end of the day. I can't do that. Like a doctor can't say, go smoke cigarettes. Now, cigarettes probably not going to kill you. You have to smoke a ton. And frankly, it's not even clear if cigarettes do. Everyone was smoking cigarettes back in the day, and very few people had lung cancer in reality. But it's good for your cough. It's gross. I don't want to do it. But it's probably more poison in the exhaust of our cars we're pumping into the environment, giving us lung cancer. But nonetheless, doctors are not going to say go smoke a cigarette because it's not good for you. It could kill you. So that's that stance I have to give, especially in a private public forum like this. I can't be just telling you to break the rules. This doesn't make any sense. Okay, Valdez says, what info should I request with FOIA for proof as a former K1 sponsor? What info? I mean, just the basic info as requested on the FOIA request. That's your name, contact. They may not release that information to you, unfortunately. As a petitioner, recently they stopped. They're like fighting us and not giving the petitioners FOIA documents, even though it's their documents. So prepare for that. But fill out the USCIS FOIA form. It asks you once you go and register online, your name, your info, the case info, your parents' names, your address, that kind of stuff. It's really not too crazy. Nudity says, hi, I-130, February 2023, not approved on a green card and RN filed for citizen 3 months ago. I'm waiting for interview. Give answer, please. Yeah, I mean, I-130s for LPR I-130s are taking forever. I have cases from 2022 not approved yet. So another year before you, and they're coming current soon. So I'm like annoyed by that because it's not getting approved. There's not much you could do about it. Novelet asks, when immigration writes in your passport, no AOS, no COS, no US. If I'm married to US citizen, can I get my green card? Yeah. So sometimes when people are entering the United States and the officer's not sure what their plans are, and they think they're going to stay or something like that, the CBP, Customs and Border Protection Officer, in your passport, right? No AOS means no adjustment of status, no green card filing, no COS, which means change of status, and no EOS, no extending your status. If you're on a tourist visa, you can't extend your tourist visa. You can't change to a student visa, COS, or an AOS. You can't apply for a green card. However, they're not supposed to write that because it means nothing at all. So that their internal training, they tell their officers not to stop doing that because it's meant to scare you. But as long as there's no other indicators of immigrant intent or fraud or misrepresentation, that hasn't been something that's ever held me back from filing the case. Every year it was the one. Nowadays less and less nowadays, but back in the day this happened all the time, like 10 years ago, and I never had problems with that. But first of all, download our guide, Novelet, marriageimmigrationlaw.com to learn about it. And I do recommend scheduling a consultation with us, talk about it. jqklaw.com/contact. Orlando asks, where are you located? I'm in Los Angeles, California, but our location does not matter at all. We do video consultations just like we're talking right now, but in private. And everything we do, we're mailing it to the government or uploading it or emailing them or calling them. So even if you have an interview, sometimes you can visit and come, or a lot of times nowadays you don't need to have a lawyer at the interview if the case is well prepared. And also we have contacts all over the country. I know hundreds of immigration lawyers everywhere. I could help you in person if they need to, but probably not needed. It depends on what kind of case you have, but the cases we accept. Aziz asks, what about F1 study visa? What about it? Rose says, I married a U.S. citizen. Now I sent my RFE medical last year, waiting approval. How long approval? No one knows. No one knows. Orlando, where can I set up a consultation? So start by Orlando by going to jqklaw.com/contact, fill in your basic info, your name, phone number, email, what country you're from, how you learn about us, and also briefly just describe what kind of case you have. Because if you have an asylum case, for example, we can't help you. We don't accept asylum cases. But if it's something we do, then we'll schedule a consultation from there. Angie says, hi, I just started immigration paralegal. Do you have any tips on how to approve quick? Go to a website called ILT Box, or the full name is immigrationlawyerstoolbox.com. It's an attorney training program I have, but there's a lot of content there for people in the field. So we have a magazine, a podcast, conferences, seminars. The CLEs are private for lawyers only, but immerse yourself in there and also join as ALUB Paralegal. American Immigration Law Association has a paralegal division. It's free for your employer could add you to their account if they have your ALUB, which they should. And then just spend a lot of time studying all day. There's lots to learn. I've been doing this 15 years. I teach immigration law at law schools, Pepperdine, Loyola Law School. I have courses for immigrationers I train. And every morning when I wake up, there's a new thing I learn and a couple of things I learn every day about immigration law. It's amazing. That's like the only thing that teaches more as it goes on. I think is a Torah or something like that, where people keep studying and learn stuff from it. Immigration law, it's maybe, I don't want to be dishonest Torah, but it's like a distant second to that. But it's never ending how much stuff you learn from this. Just got to study continuously. As he says, I mean, interview tips. I don't know what's going on in your case, but have the answers you need. So it's just I could give generic tips. It's like people ask sometimes from like rich people are like, what tips do you have? Someone who's 20 years old. A 20-year-old may have a dad who has $5 million they're handing them. Okay, they need different tips. Or someone who's like has nothing going on and they just need to start exercising and lose weight so they're healthy first. So tips, I could give generic tips, but it's worthless. I like giving things that really make a difference. And so I need to know about the person first and give them. Tips in general is just be calm and be thoughtful and love God. I mean, those are more important tips, frankly, than anything, whatever happens in the interview. But when it comes to tips, it really depends. Like, if you're from Farsi type, if you're from Iran, description. If you did was Sepah, they're going to deny you. What is your ties to your home country that we can show? What is your background? What are you studying? How well is your English handling it? Which embassy or consulate are you doing an interview with? This is just for Iranians. If we were Chinese or Russian, I have different things. If you're from Canada, I have different things, different plans and strategies to go at this. So it really depends on who you are, what you're doing, and handling it. Luch says, I got my wife's interview in Islamabad. Can I update again? I64 no. You don't really need to update the form I64 if the NBC's. Congratulations getting your interview, Maluch. Please let me know how long it took to get your interview after the being documentary qualified. Because a lot of people in Pakistan are just dying from the delays. But you don't need to update the I64 unless the embassy asks for it. Really, I've never seen that happen. Even though they tell you you're supposed to do it, other ways do it, I don't bother. But you'll need updated, tax returns, W-2s, pay stubs to show you're still making the income. So that's what you need to upload to SIAC and also bring to the MC interview. That's that. 25, as he says, interview on November 14th. Best of luck. Angie, you're welcome. Kiki says, I-130 approved 4 months ago. I-45 still pending USA. Came legal. Is it normal? Yeah, unfortunately, it's normal. We have these delays between the two cases. Jonah says, hello. That's something I got to make a video of. I-130, I-45, different times. Okay. Sometimes it's denied. You might have okay with one of the forms and not the other, but these delays in between do happen, unfortunately, more and more. Moose says, brother, I lost my translated marriage certificate, but I already uploaded to NBC. What should I do? Can I remake? I have original. Yeah, just get a new translation. Go to there's a website we use called imitranslate.com. They do pretty fast and quick, but that shouldn't be a problem. Brandy says, does DS260 and I64 have to be filled out by kids? So yeah, each person that's going to get a green card has to fill out their own DS260. But the I64, one works for the family. Depends on what kind of case it is. So if you're a U.S. citizen applying for your wife and your kid, for example, each of them need their own DS260 and their own I64. Maybe if the child's going to become a U.S. citizen upon entry, they could get a waiver of the I64. They use the I64W. But let's say you're a green card holder applying for wife and kids all in one case. One I64 covers everybody, but each of them need their own DS260. What should I do? Can I make? Yeah, I answer that question. Okay. So a good session today. We know when I don't have a million questions, probably better because I spend more time answering each one more thoughtfully. So maybe it's better I don't rush and get. But I feel like I want to answer everyone's questions. So we're just bam, bam, bam going through it. Jonah says, hello, what happens to F1 status when F2 files for asylum? That's nothing. As long as you're going to school and maintaining your F1 status, it's fine. Result says, I have dual citizenship, both eligible for DV here in the U.S. On F1. Apply DV with citizenship apply to. Diversity visa lottery isn't based on your passport necessarily. It's based on the country you're born in. So you could be, French and Canadian because you got it through your parents, but you're born in India and you get stuck with India. Now, there is cross-chargeability where you can use other citizenships sometimes, depending on the situation, but it's based in general on immigration, getting a green card is based on the country of birth. So your dual citizenship, it doesn't help me out here. We got to see your country of birth. If you make a mistake on that, even if you win the lottery, they'll deny it later. So these are little nuances you want to double check. Kiki says, I will answer that question. You're welcome, Aziz. Best of luck on your interview. God bless. Let's see. Orlando, what's the turnaround time for setting up a consultation? I don't know. I don't know anything about your case, Orlando. So I have one case right now. We have everything ready, but they are not. They lost their birth certificate. It's been 4.5 months. We're waiting for them to get a new birth certificate. So we were ready in 2 weeks. But 4.5 months later, case is sitting there. Now they're updating their forms USCIS. We got to redo stuff. And so so turnaround time, we're fast. What you can expect from us is we're the best in the game because we appreciate the fact that no one wants to sit on their case and take forever. So if you hire me, that's not something you have to worry about. But I don't know anything about your case. So maybe even can't do your case. So turnaround time, that's first of all, it's what is this case doable? What's going to happen? And then how much does it cost? And then worry about turnaround time, which is a good question, but based on just knowing your name, it's impossible to say any answer for that. Please make a video on what consular officers look for in an IR1 case. Okay, I just did a video right now on TikTok and probably upload. Actually, I did it on Instagram too, where you're asking, where I talk about what's looked at in a USCIS interview, not the consular, but essentially it's the same thing. They're looking for, is a real couple, is their background good, and that's that. And it depends on your background, but I'll make a note of that. Good question. Consular IR1 interview goals. All right, and Baby says, hi, John. A tourist here in the U.S. with pending I-130 after 90 days is still, well, I don't know what kind of I-130 you have, and if it's valid or not. Hey, Ebron. But if it's still if it's adjusted status, if it's current or not. So we got to get more information. Schedule a private consultation. jqqlaw.com/contact. We got to end the show pretty soon. It's almost 30 minutes, but let's take some TikTok questions. Baluch. 1 year and 8 months after I'm only one sponsor. Okay, well, 1 year, 8 months, it sounds terrible, but there's people waiting 2 years, so it's a little bit better, but still, it's 1 year, 8 months to get interviews terrible. Yeah, if you're only the sponsor, you don't have a joint sponsor, then yeah, update your tax return, get your tax transcript on the IRS website, and your most recent pay stub show you're still making money. If you're employed, your W-2s, your 1099 is a little more complicated. Orlando says, I met with you, I just set it up. So I gotta see your email. I'll try to contact you by tonight. I got a bunch of stuff I gotta do. I gotta see what your case is. Then I send you a link to schedule a private consultation. There's paid fees, but there'll be a calendar there, Orlando, that has my times. It's Tuesday. I probably have times on Thursday or next Monday. And next Monday's a holiday, so maybe not. But like next Tuesday, I will figure something out. If it's urgent, we'll jump in there. I even have Sunday morning times that we do for people. Parmi says, "What's the processing time for citizenship in Seattle?" I don't know. DS260 3 months ago, we have approved. When do you think take a point of interview? No idea, Ali. In Pakistan, took the gentleman 1 year and 8 months. Your name is Ali. If you're from Iran, it's probably going to take 2 years. But if you're French, it might take 2 months. So it really depends on what they're doing and how they feel like, how fast they want to be. Mo says they denied and sent my fiance visa back to NBC. Sorry to hear that, but I just got married, reapplied for I-130. Is that okay? That's what you got to do. They denied it. There's no point. Yeah, we got to go. But you got to have a stronger case. You got to prep it well. And you got to see why they denied it. But that's the only choice you really have. Kevin says, I received an RFE only for medical and then received my second work authorization. How long for? I don't know. Orlando, I need one ASAP. Orlando, let me see what happened to your email and see if it's something that's we handle, and then we'll jump on it. Baluch, you're welcome. God bless. I hope the interview goes well. Keep us posted. Kevin Ortiz, I received RFE. Already answered that question. I guess Ali says for my wife. Yeah, but Ali, what country are you from? So I really don't have answers how long it's going to take. But thank you everyone for joining. Really good session today. I like having less questions, but going deeper and a lot of good questions. I have stuff I could talk about. I'm immigration lawyer John Kostravi. I teach immigration law. I love immigration law, helping you. God bless you, Ali. Not to give me all those flowers if you have the question, I don't know, but appreciate that. Very nice of you. Let's see. I'm going to invite you, but I'm not sure how that works. But anyways, if you want to schedule a private consultation, jqklaw.com/contact. And if you're doing marriage or fiance visa, download our guide first. Go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com, download the guide, read through it, have understanding. So when you talk with the lawyer, you don't ask the basic questions. You want to ask the questions where you know what you're talking about, so you can see what the lawyer knows what they're talking about. So if you feed you some nonsense, it'll be like, oh, I already know this is not the case. I know what forms got this and that. And you get down to business and what's going on. But having said that, God bless, be safe, and I'll see you all next Tuesday, 4 p.m. Pacific. If you don't follow us, please do. I do random pop-ups like this too. Join us so you get these notifications where you're following us, and share as well. There's so many millions of people going through this process, and we get emails every day telling us how helpful it was to just talk with somebody. Couldn't afford a lawyer, or they didn't know they could even get a lawyer until halfway through the case. But now that just talking and hearing the situations helped them a lot. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of people, probably not thousands, over the last 5 years I've been doing this. It's pretty regular. I get these kind of things. So I really appreciate everyone's going. I hope this helped. We'll see you all next week. Bye.